Hello, welcome to our presentation comparing brands Oatly with minor figures. Today we will be discussing consumer insights and comparing marketing behaviours within the brands. There is growing interest within the marketing industry due to the rising consumption in day-to-day life. My name is Grace Walsh and I will be discussing perception and attitude and persuasion.
Hi, my name is Lydia Peitsi and I will be talking about self-concept.
In the past few years, there has been a steady growth of veganism as a choice of lifestyle. In 2019, according to Statistica, there were 600,000 vegans in Great Britain, and at the beginning of 2020, an estimated 1.1 million. The number of vegans in the UK has increased by 40% over the past 12 months, and in 2020, the Grocer reported that 62% of adults in the UK had purchased plant milk at some point. Therefore, more brands have become vegan-friendly, and the market has had to cater to the new vegan lifestyle. In this presentation, we will be talking about OAT milk, specifically Oatly and minor figures.
This is a perception map of price versus quality to show who the main competitors are in the industry. Oatly saw a 200% rise in value of sales between 2018 and 2021, taking its value share in the milk industry to 2.5%. Oatly's sales now surpass competitor Arla's lacto-free and plant-based oat offer Jord. The vegan milk market specifically has seen a dramatic increase in sales since 2020 due to the COVID panic buying and fresh milk being in short supply. Price 2021. This map of the milk market demonstrates where Oatly and minor figures sits amongst their competitors. The main brand we were talking about in this presentation is Oatly. Oatly, as we now know it, was started in 1995 by a group of scientists at Lund University, where they developed the world's first oat milk for people with allergies. In 2021, they began selling it under the brand name Oatly. Very slow growth and product recognition continued until 2012, when a new management team redesigned the brand as the one we recognise today. In May 2021, Oatly was valued at $10 billion, according to CBS News. Oat milk is allergy-friendly, the original reasons the scientists developed it, and according to the Good Food Institute data as well as Business Insider data, oat milk sales have grown by 345.2% in conventional retail in the year up to September 2020. Oatly are a challenger brand. Their slogan is "We only do oats," but the market themselves are much more than an oat company. They incite sustainability discussion, they encourage carbon footprint transparency, and they publish their green beliefs openly on all their packaging. Here we have a chart of a questionnaire asked of 16-year-olds on the internet about which milk they consume. Whilst cow's milk is still holding the market share, plant-based milk is a close second, with 22% of the users choosing this over other milk, according to Price. In 2020, Britain spent $146 million on oat milk, compared with $74 million in 2019. This is largely due to the increase in panic buying as a result of COVID. Our competitor brand is Minor Figures. Minor Figures, like Oatly, is a vegan milk company who specialise in oat milk. However, they market themselves as a coffee company rather than an alternative milk company. Minor Figures is a London-based firm that exports to 25 countries. The country was founded in 2014 by Stuart Forsyth. The company's brief wasn't to replicate the milk, but to create a better cup of coffee using plant-based oat milk. They say they are coffee people. Minor Figures in 2020 was valued at $7 million, compared to $10 billion in the same period for Oatly, according to Company Check. Perception is a three-stage process, which translates perceptual stimuli into meaning, according to Solomon, also known as a process by which physical sensations such as sights, sounds, and smells are selected, organized, and interpreted. Consumers go through stages of processing information, where stimuli is inputted and stored into the brain. However, most stimuli has a passive presence and is not noticed by the consumer. These stages are exposure, attention, and interpretation, and make up our process of perception. However, a tiny percentage of input makes it to interpretation. Hence, marketeers have to consider these stages in order to influence the consumer's purchasing decisions. Sensory marketing is using marketing to target the 5 senses in order to subconsciously influence the consumer. Companies will focus their marketing on providing a full sensory experience to the consumer in order to subconsciously influence their purchasing behaviors, according to Solomon. Sensory input evokes historical imagery in which events are recalled. Historically, some examples of sensory marketing include pumping the scent of bread baking strategically through supermarkets, soap shops using bubble effects and potent bath smells to attract the consumer and influence their thought process, and using colours and effects in advertisements to give the consumer a sense of experiencing the product. In 2021, Oatly launched a series of short clip advertisement videos for each of their products on YouTube. These were designed specifically to target consumers wishing to learn more about the brand and to showcase their products, and were intended to be a back-to-basics form of marketing, according to Hughes. Oatly's Drink and Drive campaign features a man driving with a carton of Oatly milk and sipping as he drove. The environment and the atmosphere is relaxed, and greenery is featured throughout the ad with an obvious breeze. This targets the consumer's to smell and taste senses. As the man's face is not shown throughout, the consumer can easily imagine themselves doing this and put themselves in the man's shoes. This ad also showcases the fact that the product does not need to be refrigerated like regular milk and can be consumed easily on the go. It is a short ad, but is very effective in terms of its persuasion. Minor Figures uses a very simplistic marketing campaign, focusing on beautiful imagery showcasing their milk to entice the consumer's taste senses. They also post short videos to Facebook of their logo, drinking their product, to lean into the trend and the brand messaging. Stuart Forsyth, co-founder and CEO of Minor Figures, described their marketing campaign as not the brand that's like get up and rise and grind, you can crush it, go out and do it. All these puke-ridden motivational and aspirational brands that they deliberately swim against the tide and challenge modern-day norms and societal expectations, according to Bliss. This brand also uses imagery of consumers drinking their product to reinforce the taste sense, which would result in interpretation and response through purchasing. Attitude is what you think, feel, and do. Attitudes are formed in many ways: conditioning, cognitive processing, or social influences, according to Smigum and Picanti. Under this comes the value expressive, meaning expressing yourself through emotions and actions, thoughts, and beliefs. By buying plant-based milk, it shows the value expressive function because it's something the consumer takes as part of their self and identity. Oatly and Minor Figures both use attitude and persuasion in their marketing. Oatly are value expressive. This means Oatly's ethics and ideas match those of consumers' central values. Oatly use this function often. They sell their products as sustainable, creating the idea of value expressive as it matches that of the consumer. They do this by targeting what the consumer believes, in this case the emotions being behind the vegan and what veganism means to the consumer, specifically in terms of carbon footprint and being better for the environment. OOH out-of-home campaign in 2019 ditched the milk. They offered free merchandise to anyone willing to go dairy-free for 72 hours, as well as thousands of free cups of coffee in and around London using Oatly. They put out a press release stating, swap cow's milks for oat drink and save the planet 73% in CO2. See, pretty simple. The ad spot shows a man in a car explaining all the stupid things humans do while he is driving, and is doing them, including driving without a seatbelt as his children are in the back, smoking, and finally, our consumption of dairy, whilst his daughter eats an ice cream. The video then cuts to a bumper sticker that states, ditch milk, swap to oat, and save 73% in CO2. The founder of Minor Figures said, everything we do is to create a better cup of coffee. However, arguably, Minor Figures is now unintentionally more well-known and aligned to and for its oat milk production over its coffee. This means that although Minor Figures don't intentionally market themselves through value-expressive marketing, they do use it through being known as a vegan plant-based milk company.
Self-concept. According to Salmon, the self-concept refers to the beliefs a person holds about their attributes and how they evaluate these qualities. Self-concept is about how an individual perceives themselves and how they feel about themselves as they are, but also how they would like to be. This can also refer to how an individual perceives other people. The self-concept includes self-esteem, extended self, self-congruence, digital self, self and gender, and self and the body. Oatly use self-concept in their marketing through praising consumers for buying plant-based milk, going vegan, and saving the planet. By doing this, Oatly are tapping into how the consumers feel about themselves and suggesting that by going vegan, the consumers will feel good because they are doing good. Self-gender. Self-gender, according to Eagley, 1987, is the consumer's sex role identity. It is the gender expectations that form part of a consumer's ideal self. It is an important part of a consumer's self-concept and differs within various cultures and countries. Self-gender is formed at a young age and learned throughout the consumer's life. Self-gender ties into Oatly and Minor Figures as they are both plant-based milk companies. Veganism, as well as gender, is part of a consumer's identity. It has been found that there is a clear link between gender and veganism. According to the BID, 79% of vegans are women. Dietitian Banchari Arataraya said this is because women are more compassionate towards animals. Dr. Sabrina Romanov suggested this is also because women are more interested in self-improvement and being slim. Oatly Help That campaign. An example where Oatly have used self-gender in their marketing would be the Help That campaign in 2021. The campaign consists of 4 short TV advertisement videos of children trying to get their dads to go plant-based. The campaign was aimed to help children talk to their fathers about eating and drinking more sustainably, in this case by switching from dairy to plant-based. The campaign is based on multiple studies that conclude that middle-aged men are the least likely to adopt a plant-based lifestyle. Oatly also created plant-based recipes within the campaign for classic dad meals to offer the target audience, men, some alternatives to try. The Help Dad campaign had an effect on the audience of wanting to change themselves to be better. This links to self-concept as the ad helps to persuade consumers, dads, to try plant-based milk. An example of this is a journalist, Stefano Hatfield, who wrote a short article about how the Help Dad campaign inspired him to finally listen to his daughter's suggestions of trying veganuary. However, it wasn't all positive. According to The Independent, there were over 140 complaints about the campaign, including sexism and ageism against middle-aged men. This is an example of one of the 4 adverts brought out during Oatly's Help Dad campaign. The advert shows a dad asking his daughter to buy him a dairy milk, but she refuses. The advert ends with a dad saying, "I hate my life," and then a call to action as the question is asked, "Need help talking to dad about milk?" and a link to the Oatly website appears on the screen. The advert uses self-gender because Oatly have targeted a specific gender about the way they view themselves and how they can change their stubborn ways to a more positive lifestyle.
I'm just popping out.
Could you grab a pint of milk, please, love?
Dad, we talked about this.
Yeah, I know, but...
I'm not buying it for you.
I hate my life.
Minor Figures campaign More Fun Than Punk. Minor Figures also uses self-gender within their marketing. For example, on their Instagram posts, they mainly include and are targeted towards women, such as viral images of women using their packaging as dresses, suggesting that it is made for females. However, they use different marketing techniques than Oatly, as they use self-congruence. According to Erickson and Sergey, 1992, self-congruence means that consumers buy products that match aspects of themselves. An example where Minor Figures have used self-congruence in their marketing would be the More Fun Than Punk campaign in 2021. In the campaign, Minor Figures repackage their drinks with illustrations that show people from all walks of life, from strivers to idlers. This uses self-congruence because the images can relate to the audience and the consumer can see themselves in the illustrations as well as in the product itself.
In conclusion, Minor Figures uses a more cutting-edge marketing campaign aimed to catch the consumer's eye and create controversy to lead a lasting impression with the consumer, whereas Oatly uses humour and adverts to gently encourage the consumer to make a positive change to oat milk. The plant-based milk market is growing year on year, with Oatly increasing their market share by 200% in the past year. Oatly and Minor Figures prioritise their product quality and impact on the environment above all else. Minor Figures in 2020 was valued at £7 million, compared to £10 million for the same period for Oatly.